Hello, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good.
Hello and welcome to the SC Ballers Q&A podcast ahead of NRL SuperCoach Round 26. I am your host and coach of the Terrace crew, Matt Ricks. Head-to-head grand final week. Plenty of questions coming in, particularly around trades at centre wing and sorting teams out to help win their grand finals this week. I'm joined this morning by the one and only coach of the Casa Bonitas, Danny Boy Ricks. How are you, Danny?
Yeah, very well, Matty. Very well. How are you back in the top 10? I see I've been a bit away from SuperCoach for a week or so, been a bit busy over here, but I saw you stuck back in. Very well done.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise. Like, had a very good score, obviously, on the weekend, 1598. But yeah, it's good. It's good for the Ballers back in the top 10, probably a little bit off, 284 points off the lead off Finn. Finn had a bit of a tougher week up there, but that's okay. I'm sure he's going to bounce back. I was hoping Herbie was going to get named. I think that was going to be my ticket back up, maybe even higher. But yeah, so banking on Turbo and pulling on Reece Walsh's tail. Need a lower score from Walshy this week.
Yeah, a few spanners with the Panthers boys all gone. I know a few up top will have that. You've done well. You know, I think that was probably the pivotal moment for you a few weeks back when you didn't pick up Dylan Edwards, and a lot of those guys up the top kind of went away from you a little bit. So yeah, good to see him out this week for yourself, and maybe jag a few points back on him again.
It just shows you that even if I dropped from 6th to 32nd or something that week, that it's never really over. Like, there's always, it can turn on a dime, like one big score from a captain and you can get back up there. So yeah, all the Ballers have kept going this year, and it's been a great season. I'm looking forward to winning a few head-to-head grand finals hopefully this week, and then staying in the top 10. That's the goal. If I can finish top 10, I'll be stoked. Top 5 is a little stretch goal for the rest of you. What about you, Danny boy? How'd you had a pretty good weekend too, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty good. Still never kicking. Few guys let me down, but I think near close to a 1,500. So I got laughed off the pod last week for saying I'm pushing for top 500, and now I'm into 630th or so. So yeah, really, really decent year this year without really kicking any goals. And yeah, just great to see the other Baller boys. I think Jono's really taken a big leap this year. He's up to 200th and something from, I think, about 30,000 last year. So yeah, obviously digging in, and the Sunday snap has really helped him this year, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get the baller table up in a minute, Dan. But before we do, please head to baller.live and sign up. If you haven't already, it's free to sign up. We've got some great stuff going. We've got player comparisons dropping very shortly, which is going to be a massive game changer. That's coming with 60 percentage to score 60 plus and percentage to score 100 plus as well, which is going to be awesome. And we've got the watch along this Saturday as well. So go check us out on socials, give us a follow, a like and subscribe on YouTube. Really helps us out. It's been such a great year with all the Ballers. We got the Discord launching soon, plenty going on. Let's get into the questions for this week, Dan. Starting with a fun one from Red Seas 3 on X. Why do I play SuperCoach? Question that sometimes we do definitely feel like asking ourselves.
So are we asking ourselves? Why are we asking?
He's asking us. He's asking us why does he play SuperCoach?
Oh, we're getting deep, No, we're not getting deep. It's just good fun. I think it really keeps you interested in every single NRL game, doesn't it? You've always got someone playing, regardless of who you're going for. You know, like sometimes you've got some of the guns up against, say, the Sharkies for us, Matty, and you know, even if the Sharkies are getting hammered, we're still cheering on some of our SuperCoach players. So it just keeps you really interested. I think it's just a great product as well. How about for yourself?
Yeah, look, it can be frustrating at times, but it's just a great way to spend your downtime, a hobby, and as long as you don't pour too much time in it, make sure you prioritize your family. It's just a game at the end of the day, but yeah, it's just a great hobby, great way to spend your downtime. So keep at it, Red Seas. I'm sure you're having a good year, and you'll be keep kicking on. Luke on Instagram asks, any chance the Ball site will start doing EPL projections and live scoring? Luke, probably no projections for this season. We're trying to prioritise our Australian sports first. We've got some cool stuff in the pipeline coming. We want to have a really great NRL offering again next year, of course. We might start doing some EPL. We might start hearing a little bit more on EPL front, but we're going to build out over time, mate. So there's no doubt in future we'll have some EPL SuperCoach stuff. And it's just a bit of a slowly approach because we want to make sure we're putting out really cool stuff all the time and not rushing it. So, but appreciate the question and keep an eye out. All right, team upgrades, team trades and upgrades, Dan. We're getting into the nitty gritty now. Caden asks, hey boys, have Grant and Sandon at hooker this week. Is it worth playing Sandon over trading anyone in? He has a boost he's been saving for the grand final. Prefer to use it on higher upside guys in center wing. Can I get away with Sandon?
You certainly can get away with Sandon. I'm running out Tommy Starling at the moment as my only hooker, and that seems to be pretty good options. The likes of Watson going terrible, Harry Grant not an offer. Like, where do you go? JMK is obviously punched out a couple of big scores, but he's still a bit of a question mark around his minutes. He got a lot of attack in that 58 minutes on the weekend. So Sandon Smith could be a great play. He's going to be goal kicking this week as well. So a couple out for the Storm. Roosters off a loss. Definitely a good option. I'd say on Sandon Smith for myself.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think there's an argument to just take it, depending on your AEs, just take an AE at hooker instead of if you've got Smith and Going or Smith and McInnes. Grant and Going, or any combination where you don't actually have a hooker. I think taking an AE at hooker is a fine. I'd definitely be using that boost to boost up elsewhere and get those higher upside guys at center wing. Yeah, like you said, the options just
for sure.
They're fine, but I wouldn't be bothering there. So definitely, Caden, we're going to get stuck into some big center wing analysis in a little bit. Peps de Coglu, our old mate. Hey boys, I only have 1 2RF this week. That's he's not alone there, I can tell you that. Also have Grant Watson as my hookers. Want someone with high upside. Grant to JMK, Preston Fermor, Angus, Iro, or Brimson. Do I get a player based on positional need or chase center wing upside? This is an interesting one, Dan, because people are worried, like, because they don't have enough 2RFs, should they worry about filling that 2RF up or take an AE and look to make your trades where you get some better upside?
Yeah, it'll come down to your team structure at the moment. So for me, I've got Talakai and what's his name? Dracula on the wing for Melbourne Storm. Kane Bradley. Yeah. So I've got those two sitting and stinking up my second row forward at the moment. I would rather them not there. And if I didn't have those guys, I'd be happy just to run one short on the second row and really just hopefully get an AE from one of the other gun positions, the likes of center wing, 5'8", fullback, wherever you don't have the reserve on. The issue is if you have the likes of Kane Bradley and Talakai or Royce Hunt or these AE nightmares, you kind of want to fill that second row forward. So that's probably it. If you don't want one of those, if you've got an AE nightmare on the bench there, you've got to somehow stack that second row. I have been looking for one, and there's not a huge amount of options at the 2RF this week.
It looks like he's got some options with Jules there because he's put up Grant to Brimson. So I would definitely be happy to sit someone out as long as you don't have like a real AE nightmare, like I don't even know. Like, I don't even know who the AE nightmares are, but
Zach Labour.
Yeah, someone who's going to score you 15 to 25 points, basically, because you do get the free loop this week in that scenario. So you don't want to you want to be a little bit careful there. But yeah, I'd be all about chasing the center wing upside wherever you can this week, because the options are just so much better.
Yeah, just to reiterate on that question, because you've only got 1 2RF, you need to make sure that you're filling up at least 2 of those spots, because you can only have 1 as your AE coming in. So if you've got 2, if you stick with only 1 2RF and you get another center wing, for example, you're going to be losing an 18th man there.
Yeah, I still like Fermor as upside if you do want upside 2RF. Just with their fixtures, Dolphins and Tigers, he's probably the one. There's not really anyone else jumping out as a trading target.
No.
Purple Cobra. G'day, mate. Overall player with 1 trade left. Only have 19 this week. It's not too bad. And 2 healthy 2RFs playing. Wanted to save my last trade for Drinky to anyone in flex for round 27. Am I better to go McInnes to someone like Iro, Mulitalo, or another high upside CT dub with a good 2-week draw? Good question, this, Dan. I reckon that he's better off taking the AE if his AEs are all right and saving that trade for Drinky. But I can see the argument to get double bubble on someone like Iro, who might be the best trade, who might be one of the better trading options next week for Drinky anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in the exact same position. So I'm hoping to be able to loop this week for my two, like I've got 2 gun, 2 RFs and 1 lowly one, which I'm hoping to loop. I'm not going to, and I'm in the exact same position that I've only got 1 trade left as well. And I really want 3 gun fullbacks next week. So I'm going to hold that trade. I did consider Eero, and that would probably be the one I would make if I had 2 trades left. But I just don't see it worthwhile to not have one of those guns, the likes of Tommy Turbo, Dylan Edwards, someone like that, Reece Walsh, even if Storm are resting next week. You want one of those guys, I think, as your last trade next week.
Yep. Hey fellas, from Unnamed on X. Hey fellas, hope you're well. My team is decimated, playing with 17, including Bradley, assuming he remains named, Watson and LKT. Use my final trade on Dewey to Eero to get 18th, to get 18 players, ranked 469th. Trying my best to stay in the top 1K. Cheers, fellas. Pretty similar scenario, Dan, here. In this scenario, though, I would probably try and top up this week and try and get more value for the trade.
Yeah, if you've only got 17, Eero could bounce out at 120. That's already value straight away. So yeah, probably pull the trigger on that one.
Yeah, and the good thing about Eero is he's here next week, so you get 2 weeks of value for him. Dewey's not playing. I like that trade a lot. I would be pulling the trigger there. Richard writes in, Dan, from X, boys, Vialepu has reared his head as an AE nightmare for my final trade, for my head-to-head final. And his question centers around, should he trade out Vialepu? He's got Dewey, so he wants to trade Dewey out to someone with high upside, like an Eero, Mully, Tarlo, or Tamale type. And then should he keep Vialepu or trade him out to a cheaper CT double like a Wilton or Lemuelu? What would your advice there be?
Yeah, I think it's probably just dependent on your captaincies and VC options there. Like you've got to stay fluid through the round. If you get a very, very good VC, say 120 plus, you'd probably look to get rid of Vialepu, I think, if he's going to cost you those extra points. But if you're going to there's some very safe captain options this week. I think, and that's what you got to do in these head-to-head finals. You got to pull out all guns. I would really like, Nico Hines captain, bringing in Eero, really charge up on the Sharks this week. That, second last game could get you the win in the head-to-head. So probably just be fluid with that. Yeah, I'd probably just go hard and bring in someone like Eero rather than bring in some bit of mid-range filth.
Into the centre wing now, Dan, and we got a lot of questions about centre wing options this week. Danny Heath on Instagram asked, rank the top 5 centre wing trading targets under 700K. So this is basically anyone. We're going to use the player stat table here to just filter under 700K. There we go. All teams, all positions. Now, we've got the high ownership guys, which is like Carraz and Lomax. So we won't touch on them because they're not really trading targets. Everyone's got them. Who are your 5 guys, Dan, that you'd be looking in this price range at centre wing?
Well, what stands out to me there on the baller projections, you've got 3 of the top 6 that are Bulldogs, right? The big thing is, like, Bulldogs, are they going to rest next week? I think they're going to be guaranteed third. If they do these mass restings, the likes of Crichton, Tracy, that could really, really sting you next week in the final round. So
yeah,
I'd probably steer clear of them for the meantime. Very happy to go all in on the Sharks against Newcastle. The last 2 weeks, it's just been a horror show for the Knights. So I like Ronaldo Mulatalo. Fermore's your meat and potatoes, man. I think he's got a decent matchup in the Dolphins as well. He's probably a good one to look at. It's tough. There's so many, and I guess it's just whatever your gut feel is on who's going to pop off in centre wing. I really like Marky Mark as a good option if you don't have him already. South's in the final round. Storm, he can still pull out big scores on that right wing. So, yeah, probably I like a bit of Marky Mark this week.
Yeah, I think for head-to-head players, the Dogs guys are the good options, them and the Sharks. So I'd be looking at Tracy, Crichton or Ronnie. I think they'd be my top three. Then I'd be looking at Katoni Staggs as well. Like just scroll down. His projections haven't quite caught up yet, but he's obviously in red hot form. He's projected 60. But no surprises. There's all these Bronco guys are pretty similar here, Karapani and Shibra as well. Tolu Kula is an interesting pot option. He's just killed it all year long. Just been doing so well. A little bit of a not matchups. It's good, but not quite as good as the Sharks and Panthers. Those us Sharks and Bulldogs. So head-to-head players, I'd be looking at Ronaldo, Ronaldo, Crichton, and Tracy as my top three. Overall players, though, Dan, like you mentioned, I don't think you can go too wrong with the Sharks guys. Like Ronnie would be my number one there. Probably Lehigh and Staggs also. They're also good options. I think it just comes down to what your goal is and your ambition. If you're focused on this week, it's those guys. If it's the next 2 weeks, I think it's take your pick out of Ronnie, Lehigh, and Staggs. Oh, a bit of a shout out to the Titans guys. Phil Sammy, Brimpod. We don't know so much with Keeney, but yeah, Sammy Fermel, good options. SC Lass on X asks, best buy in the centre wing this week, 620K or under with big upside. Already got Lomax, Roger, Karaz and Toops playing. So I like her headspace there. Let's just nudge this down to 620K now on the filter. Similar story, Dan. If it's head-to-head grand finals, probably Stephen Crichton there.
Yep. Head-to-head. I'm not a big head-to-head guy myself. I'm always thinking about the overall finish off here, but I don't think you can go too wrong with Crichton against that Panthers team this week. I mean, I'm assuming he's still got the goal kicking as well. So, and this is just going to solidify that third place for him. So, yeah, looks good.
And no guarantee he rests. No guarantee he rests next week. But I think it's a chance that I wouldn't be willing to go for it as an overall player.
Yeah, and most of the guys that we just touched on are under 630K as well. So.
I'd go Mark for her though. I think Dan.
Yeah. If it was a choice between, I've got Daniel Tupu coming off a concussion. I don't think anyone goes that well coming back from a concussion. I don't know. It's just a feel. Ease yourself back in a little bit. Marky Mark can just pull out, and I think he's got a higher ceiling than Daniel Tupu as well. So I don't mind him. And Phil Sami could go large as well. It's Dolphins this week. They have absolutely bled the last two. So, yeah, I don't mind him as well.
Yep. Max on X asks, Bizza or Meany to Iro this week? So, obviously, Brian Toto and Meany both not named. Both, though, Dan, importantly, will be playing in round 27. Maybe we won't get – they've got no other information about his team. So, let's just stick to this question. Who would you trade out of those guys to Iro?
100% Meany. 100%. You might not even be playing Meany next week. You would always play Brian Toto. I think it's Dragons up against Dragons next week as well. So Meany for me.
As much as I love Meany, I would agree. I am looking forward to fullback Meany though next week against the Broncos. Should be a bit of fun. Sam Gleason on Instagram asks, would you rather trade in Iro and JMK or Brayley and Mulatalo? I can't afford Iro and Brayley.
Probably Iro and JMK. I still think JMK's got those big scores in him, and he's shown attack the last few. He's not guaranteed not to get 80 minutes. So I'd probably at this time of the year take the flyer on those two ceiling guys, Iro and JMK.
Yeah, JMK's look good. He didn't play 80 minutes last week. That's my only issue with that. Brayley and Ronnie, I think that's very, very close. There's not a lot in that. Like, you wouldn't be surprised either way who won that. It's complete 50-50. I'll go with Iro and JMK as well. Just Iro's more pod, and I'd love to own Iro this week. Brett Sims, g'day Brett. Do I get Ronnie, KL, Brayley, or Walsh? 2 trades. Walsh is very interesting, Dan. We haven't really had many questions about fullbacks this week, but I feel like this is one of the most important decisions if you are trading a fullback. Do you get Walsh or do you get Turbo? Because they're the most traded in options and the most obvious ones. But I reckon there are a few little landmines in buying Walsh.
Yes, definitely. It's a complete bipolar role for Reece Walsh when Adam Reynolds is playing halfback and controlling the team and goal kicking. I think what Reynolds is coming back from a hamstring injury as well. So maybe Walsh keeps the kicking, but still, he is just hands on the ball every single set in the attacking red zone. I love Reece Walsh without Adam Reynolds, and I think it does stifle his attack and his attacking opportunities when he's in the team.
I agree completely. So I would be buying Turbo instead of Walsh if I didn't own Turbo. I'm not sure if Brett owns Turbo or not. I just think you know what you're going to get from Turbo these next 2 weeks. Walsh just looks so good, but I do think I agree with everything you just said there. In saying all that, I think out of all those guys, Walsh for the next 2 weeks still is the best trading out of all of those. It's just about the positional scarcity. That's the only issue. Like, who are you giving up at fullback to play? Like, we look at the projections this week for fullback, and let's just get Walsh up a sec. Oh, it's because I've got the filter on. Clear the filter. So where's Walsh? When I was putting up the fullbacks. Walsh is projected at the moment for 93 points. And so we don't know if Reynolds is going to play or not, but we do know that around the numbers yesterday, Walsh's projection will drop to around 78 if Reynolds does come in, and it'll be similar again next week. So he's still got a great projection. I think he's still a good buy. I'd probably lean to still bringing him in there, but I probably had the others. Dan, KL's were clearly our pick.
Yeah, for sure. I guess Brett as well. It's based on that fullback thing. If you've got, if you have Dylan Edwards and you're thinking you want to push for 3 fullbacks, you could probably have 3 fullbacks and get Walsh this week, and then you're guaranteed for 3 fullbacks 2 weeks in a row, even with an injury. Or if you've got Drinky as well, then you can use that last trade. But I'd probably go for the upside of Iro this week and then trade Drinky to solidify next week.
Yeah, and we might get like Keeney next week.
Yeah.
Could be heaps of good
really
options.
Could go really pod depending on your situation.
Yeah. All right, couple of sit v starts, Dan. Desperate times, boys. If Haas is out, who should I have as my last reserve? Savala or LKT? Also have Watson or K Bradley as options. Jeez, he's got a deep squad, old Bluffmaster this week. I think Haas will be sweet to play. But yeah, who's your option out of those guys, Dan? It's a bit grim, but that's not too bad.
I think LKT has actually shown some decent form over the last few weeks, like NRL wise. I think he's coming into it a little bit. So yeah, Savala's really tough. He might jag some try assists from some kicks this week, playing the Storm. That's going to be a really tough one. I would not want to play him. And then Kane Bradley, you never want to play Watson. It's just been really tough at the moment to play Watson. So probably guaranteed 80 minutes. Dragons, is it at 4 Pines this week or away or Dragons at home?
Yeah, I said Cogra.
Cogra. So yeah, probably go on LKT and hope for the best.
Yeah, I agree. LKT. Savala's is projected 49, LKT 50 or 51, so nothing in it. But look, if you can scrape 50 out of LKT, that's fine this week. Be more than happy. Hopefully Haas plays, you won't have to worry though. Teabag on X asks, is sitting Lomax this week viable? Forecast to be wet in New Zealand and the Wars need to win to lock up a top 4 spot, so the defence should be spot on. Lomax was also under an injury cloud last week and performed like it. If I do sit Lomax, I can play Weeks or Horsburgh instead. Thoughts? That's a hard no from me. I'd be Lomax's upside every day of the week. He got 130 2 weeks ago.
Yes. Most likely on paper. I mean, it's a high risk, high reward play, but Kyle Weeks could go potentially large this week as well. So out of the two that you could bring in, play for Lomax, I would definitely be going Weeks over Corey Horsburgh.
Yep, agree.
But it's a very big risk City Lomax because with one try, he can ton up quite easily. He didn't look great on the weekend, but yeah, he can certainly bounce back.
In no world I would never ever sit Lomax in a game of Super unless he was like completely injured and basically just out there to fill the team, which I don't think this is the case. I think it was sickness mainly last week that he was in doubt with. So if he was sick, if that was the case, then hopefully he's better now. It is a tough matchup, but I think the Eels have shown some good form. They obviously smashed up the Roosters last week, so I would be I'm definitely Lomax. I would play Weeks if I could though somehow.
Did he lose the goal kicking late, Lomax?
I'm not sure. I wasn't watching closely enough.
I think he might have. Yeah.
Anyway, he's not losing it longer term.
No.
Last reserve from Bundy Op. Stewart, Bradley, or Latu Fainu?
Stewart?
Jed.
Son of Rick.
Son of Rick.
Got to be son of Rick, I think.
Son of Rick. Son of Rick, then Latu, then Bradley. But you can never play Bradley ever. Like if you don't have to.
When would you play Bradley? He's had 2 doubles and scored under 70, I think, both times.
That's his only way to score a Supercoach point is to get a try, to catch a bomb and fall over the line. Let's hang on. I'm just going to check Latu's projection here, Dan, because he's back in the starting lineup this week, which is obviously really good. So he's projected 47. Jed Stewart is 49. So yeah, got to be Jed just for a bit of upside there. He's got the high projection with that matchup. All right. Final questions here, Dan, around captaincy and vice captaincy. With all the big captaincy options this week, Gunnar Say asks, playing away from home. So this is a very interesting question. So Teddy, Turbo, Walsh, Jesse McLean, very funny. Does this affect their score in the same way that a rain-affected game would? So I can take this. Sure. No, playing away is definitely not the same as rain. So we know that we can quantify rain down. We can quantify home versus away, though. So basically the home versus away dynamic works in the sense that the likelihood to win the game. So there's a baked-in home advantage that gets quantified in the probability of the team to win the game. And then that then flows through to how many tries they might score and how likely they are to win. So you'd be looking at something in the realms of anywhere between 2 and 5 point swing for home versus away. Sorry, it could be even more. It could be up to 10 points, but generally in that sort of 2 to 5 point range. So it can affect. It definitely is put it this way. If Turbo was a brookie this week, you'd be looking at them sort of being about 65% to win the game, and instead they're 50% away from home. So there is definitely an impact in the way that it is, and then you will see that. So best is kind of just to have a bit of a look week to week. Every game is different because of the matchup, but yes, it does affect their score, but not quite in the same way as rain would.
I think with that, there's a bit of a Tubes vibe feel about the home and away for some players. Like Turbo and Brookie just gets you
upside as well,
licking your lips a little bit, and there's a bit of narrative around some players in their home and some teams in their home grounds as well. You know, the Fortresses or I think it's the Titans on a Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m, fast track, all this sort of stuff. So I think it's all pretty.
Warriors at home, playing the Warriors away. That's the Podfather rule.
So yeah, there's a bit of that feel, and I think there's got to be a little bit of that put into your thinking. But most of the stats, and I think the ball projections probably factor all that in as well, right? So
yes,
and then the prices and the margins. So yeah, look, I think. You got to think about it a little bit, but yeah, it's already pretty factored in, as you said.
Correct. In terms of captaincy specifically, though, Dan, I would definitely still rather my captain be like a Turbo or a Walsh or something. You would still rather have them at home because I do think your upside is better when they're at home. So it is an interesting point. Nico is obviously at home this week, and his projection reflects that. So yeah, I think Nico is by far and away the best captain this week, and we can see here on the screen that 103.3 projected. That's over 10 points clear of Reece Walsh. So, yeah, I think that I'll probably be sticking with Turbo VC Nico C this week. Turbo's my pod as well, so definitely want to get him up for a huge score to loop him.
Mm-hmm.
Livingston, last question, Dan. Livingston, appreciate all the content, boys. What VC would you take if you planned on captaining Hines? What score would you loop? And who would you drop to loop? White, Tarpany, Hosking, or AFB? So this is a great question, and I think with squads so thin this week, it's going to be very, very relevant.
Yeah, is Matty Nicholson back for the Raiders this week?
He was back
Or
in
not
Cup
yet?
last week. He might be on the extended.
That would be a concern for Hosking because the other guys are all the big talisman for their front row, for their team. So they're guaranteed those sort of decent minutes. Probably AFB. I have been really disappointed as an owner this year. I just think he's never really kicked on like I would have liked him to. He hasn't got the tries, and he's really just pocketed that offload away as well. So I'd be pretty comfortable dropping AFB out of those lot as long as you're confident that Hosking's got a guaranteed, say, 65 plus minutes.
So Nicholson's not in the squad this week, Dan. I'd drop Naf White out of that lot. I think Tarpany showed last week he still got it. AFB upside v Knights with attack. Naf White projected 57 here. Zach Hosking as well, a little bit of upside. So I'd be sitting White there. White's obviously a beast, and he scored really well a couple of weeks ago, I think. But yeah, I just think I'd still be happy to sit him there. What score? What about the score, Dan? What are you thinking? Because this is just something right at the forefront of my mind as well. I'm sort of thinking maybe around 100 to 110.
It depends on your rank and what you're trying to do. I'm still trying to push maximum, and I'm not really too fussed if I come 600th or 1000th. So I'm probably going higher up, probably that 110, 120 for me.
Yeah. So Nico's obviously got the high projection. I do think there's something to be said, though, for points in the bank, especially like on a week like this where there could be some teams struggling. But I think you just got to be flexible. But yeah, I don't think I'd be looping anything under 100 for my VC with Nico. I think that's probably my threshold. All right, Dan, what are you doing for captains this week?
Yeah, I got a complex thing going on this week. I am going VC on Reece Walsh into Captain Nico. If I loop, it's going to change all my structure on my team. I might have to get rid of Chucky Simpkins on the final day if he's named in the starting 17. Even if he's on 18th man, I'm still a little bit concerned. 3 head knocks, and I'm going to end up with Captain Chucky Simpkins coming on for 5 minutes. So yeah, it's a little bit concerning, but I've got a few moves. Maybe bringing in Lemu Elu late in the play, and that might mean that I have to captain JC. But chances are Reece Walsh gets a 90. I'm going straight C, Nico Hines, hoping for a big one.
Yep. Very good. All right, that'll see us out this morning, guys. Best of luck.
Wait. What are you doing?
I already said Turbo VC, Nico C. Very straightforward. Okay. I need Turbo. Turbo obviously got me back up high in the ranks. Also I could be hiding that as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Are you just bluffing it out, or just?
I mean, everyone knows that I've got Turbo. Everyone knows I've got Turbo. If you own Turbo, you have to VC it. There's no
and you're not no trades this week for yourself?
No trades. I got one left. I've got exactly 18. And I don't really have any weakness, so I've got to take an AE at centre. And the good thing about that is I've got Herbie there, so I put Herbie on the field.
Yeah,
I've only got 3 centre wings,
and
perfect. He's the last game, so I can captain him if Turbo goes well.
No
so I don't have any looping issues, which is great.
No, you got Chucky Simpkins though, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll know by. I mean, he's 18th. I mean, who knows? Well, let's just see how Turbo goes and. Look, if Tukey plays, he should be good for a 30. And Starling's the one that I'm not playing. So Starling's my AE at the moment.
You can loop him. Yep.
And we can, but if Starling gets 50, then, Tukey can still get 30. So I'm only giving up 20 points.
Yep.
So it'll just all factor into the decision about what the number that I'm comfortable looping. So we'll see how we go. All right, that'll see us out, Dan. Best of luck to everyone for the weekend. Make sure you check out everything on ballr.live and check out all our socials over the weekend. 2 weeks to go. And we got the finals game. We're recording a finals podcast this week, which is going to be awesome. We'll drop that in your feeds very shortly. And thanks very much, Danny Boy.
Cheers, Matty.
Catch you all later. Bye.